Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
You know, your boy was just chilling. I ain't gonna hold you. I was literally just chilling. I was playing Dark Souls 1, working on that platinum, finishing up the series, doing what a gamer does, just play his games and enjoy, his time. Granted, a lot of stuff has happened. There's been a lot of cool stuff that's been going on, and I didn't get a chance to touch upon. I was gonna make a video on it. But then my phone starts going off. My DMs start going crazy. And then I finally pick up the phone and I'm like, yo, what's going on? Like, yo, Bit. They're like, yo, Bit, yo, you need to check social media. I'm like, what's going on with social media? It's like, yo, it's big. I'm like, what's big? So I'm thinking there's like a new acquisition. I'm thinking there's something epic, like a damn announcement, something that I've been asking for, for like a big game. So I go on social media thinking that's what I'm going to get. And of course, like this community never ceases to disappoint me. But I go to social media and I see that I'm getting quote tweeted a lot. And I'm like, okay, what am I getting quote tweeted into? So I go and check the quote tweets and I see that my boy Asherborg was like, yo, Bit, yo, you made it, bro. I was like, what you mean I made it? It's like, you made it. It's like, oh, word? So let's go and see what's going on here. I click and I see that it's IconEra. Now, IconEra decided to not only make a thread about me, which is hilarious. They did this with Oh No Italics as well, by the way. And they also, I think they added Oh No Italics, or maybe they didn't add Oh No Italics. But anyway, they made a thread about me and didn't even at me because they were afraid of the clapback that I was going to do. So for those of you that don't understand why these clowns are even this bold to do this, obviously they're still bitter because your boy Brian K, who is the founder of IconEra, he got exposed in 4K when he flat out went on social media claiming that a GT7 was canceled for PC, as well as Demon Souls was canceled for PC. And the reason why he said that it was canceled is because Sony is canceling their PC strategy. He went to that extreme of saying that. But as you guys already know, with the current state of PlayStation and with the current state of play that literally just happened, that debunks everything he just said right out the gate. And to go back to his particular point in regards to this, he was even reached out to in terms of being actually to comment on the situation. And it turns out he flat out admitted that everything he said was speculation and nothing of any reputable source. So with that being said, this dude pushing this bullshit title of how to lie to your audience is arguably one of the funniest things that I've seen in a long fucking time on social media. And of course, you got dumbasses like this that think that shit like this is going to affect me. When I'm done with your ass, I think it's going to be in your best interest just to not mention me anymore, okay? And to make it blunt to you right now, real quick, Brian, I know you're cool with Reforged Gaming, which is why this feels like more of a personal attack because you're that fucking bitter. Listen, I don't care about Reforged Gaming. I do my own fucking content. I chill. I don't talk about Reforged Gaming. In fact, I think I even have the fucking guy blocked. I don't fucking watch his content, nor do I care about it. But this is clearly in regards to that, because that's your boy. You've already been exposed to gifting subs to him, okay? And for the record, it's IGN, not AGN, okay? Anyway, back to the point. However you want to build your forum, if you want to build an echo chamber full of retards and, insane morons into a thread, you go right ahead and you do that, okay? But I want you to really look around you for a second here, Brian, and really see a golden opportunity that you have with IconEra that you really should be using it for. Instead of using it to push bullshit console war, fake agendas, and everything of that nature, or weaponizing gaming, why not use this to get the community together and actually demand better for games and the actual industry itself? There have been multiple projects that we could have had from PlayStation this generation that will never see the light of day because PlayStation gamers like you refuse to speak up, and instead you want to hide behind the little shit you have and use that to weaponize gaming and point the finger at content creators who want more for you. Okay? That's the sad part. You don't use your platform for anything good, and you wonder why, just like the rest of the other idiots, on why studios go bye-bye. You wonder why games don't happen anymore. You wonder why sequels don't happen at all. It's because of shit like this. Wasted opportunity and wasted time on shit that should not be wasted whatsoever. And that is the sad part altogether. But anyway, that being said, we're about to go ahead and cook your boy in this thread real quick. We're going to just use the whole situation. We're going to have fun with it. Shout out to everybody in the chat, though. Everybody reached out. I appreciate it. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this forum. And to Brian K, man, seriously, do better. Do better. I can tell you have a little bit of ambition for what you want to do with IconEra. The problem is you're too chicken shit to act on it and actually grow it the right way. And instead, you're so focused on console war shit because that's all you know. You don't know how to actually grow an audience or be honest. And unfortunately, that's something I can't teach you. That's something that has to come naturally. But again, nobody wants to put in work. They just want to latch on to anything they can latch themselves onto. So let's go ahead and get into this video, man. Let's go ahead and get into this breakdown. Let's go. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into this forum, man. A lot was said, and a lot's about to be debunked, and it's absolutely hilarious. And you're going to find something very convenient in this entire forum. The first thing you're going to notice is the cherry picking and the lack of context on everything else that was said. Not just from me, but also from the sources that he's bringing up. But first things first, let's just get into how this forum starts. Basically, the forum starts off with the thumbnails that I use from my 2 videos that I did on IconEra. And mind you, again, the first video I did on IconEra wasn't really an attack. It was more questioning the integrity of what they were saying. I flat out asked, this doesn't make sense at all, especially with you not showing proof of anything, what you're saying. You're going to the extreme of saying, oh, yeah, I got sources, I got proof, but, I'm going to wait. I'm going to sit on these sources until, things come around, meaning that you're trying to talk something into existence that's never going to happen. And the biggest thing that he was talking about was Sony ending their PC strategy, which you guys already know right out the rip is bullshit, because Sony literally just did a state of play that was completely tailored to Steam users. Most of the big announcements out of that state of play were for PC users. Lost Souls aside was day and date with PC, Stellar Blade PC releases, everything in that nature. In fact, Sony's biggest, push lately, not just lately, but their biggest overall, overwhelming push now has been really catering to PC gamers, because they're now giving them incentives to log in and link their PSN accounts to their Steam accounts. So trust me, you're not making any sense. You're not going to win this argument whatsoever. So right off the bat, his credibility was already destroyed. And he knows this, and it made sense, though, that he was in this thread talking shit. And for the record, if you're going to call people stalkers like Astroborg, stalkers, or, your boy who made this post going to call people like Delta stalkers, you might want to look in the mirror, because isn't this stalking what you're doing right here, talking about somehow I'm cool with Boomstick XL? Newsflash, Chief, and I want you to listen to me very carefully. And that goes for any idiot that still has this dumb mentality. Just because you don't like someone's takes, or just because someone rocks a brand that you don't like, does not mean I have a problem with. I am good friends with a lot of people in this community. I am chill with a lot of people in this community. That's it. Doesn't matter if they're on Xbox, PlayStation, PC, or whatever. I game where I want to game. They game where they want to game. We all have one thing in common. We all contribute to this circle. You know what the circle is? Gaming. And that right there is where I'll leave that. Now, the other thing that he posted again was the Final Fantasy situation, where they flat out got caught lying again, claiming the actual concurrent numbers of Final Fantasy proved that Final Fantasy did not sell well on Steam, even though it was debunked and actually proven that it did sell well on Steam, and exceptionally well on Steam. I'm just saying, you dudes are starting off really, really bad with this thread. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get into the thread and just have fun with it. Let's do it. So, right out the gate, he flat out asks arguably one of the dumbest questions in this entire thread. He says, would Sony be in the red for 2024 without the success of Helldivers 2? Well, considering the fact that the remakes and remasters were not selling crazy well, Lego Horizon failed, right? And, Also, the fact that their main source of revenue in regards to 2024 is attributed to Helldivers 2. You know, with 71% growth year on year, courtesy of, the Steam or PC user base or Steam releases, which resulted in $865 million in total. I would say yes, absolutely. And here's why I said this too, but don't worry, we're going to continue with this. But he actually brings up these posts, which is funny as hell. It's not helping his argument whatsoever. It's really not. And here's why. So he also brings, well, let's just go to his point. He says the issue, Derek Strickland's reporting operating income from October to December of 2024, Q3 2024. He said Daniel Ahmad's report covers sales for the entire year. He says, and I quote the facts, they made more than $2 billion in profit in 2024, not $775 million. $775 million in profit was only for, again, the quarter. Yes, I talked about that for the quarter in the video, absolutely. But the biggest thing I highlighted is the growth from for PlayStation outside of PlayStation. Their biggest growth in attributes, was Helldivers 2 and the PC community. Hence why PC day and date releases are inevitable. But you don't bring that up. Now, since you want to question if this is true or not, and in regards to how Sony was gonna, Sony not going in the red. Okay, let's look at the current state of Sony in 2024, because again, this is why I say a lot of context is missing and key points where it needs to be made. As you guys already know, 2024 was not no swan song of a year for PlayStation. In fact, Sony had arguably one of the worst years in regards to studio closures and developer layoffs, not to mention canceled games. More on that particular point in a second. But in 2024, Sony shut down 5 studios. That included, if I remember correctly, that included Sony London. That included, Firewalk Studios, Neon Koi, and Japan Studios, and Deviation Games. This was all in 2024. All in 2024. Let's go a little further in regards to this, okay? You're claiming that, again, the PC community didn't, Helldivers 2 is not attributed to this. Okay. Let's do a quick little math right now, okay? Let's do a quick little math, shall we? Let's take the $2 billion that you're talking about. They made over $2 billion or $2 billion in general, right? Okay, sure, $2 billion. With the $2 billion that Sony made for PlayStation, let's remove the success of Helldivers, which is the PC community, which is $865 million in terms of money they got, right? That brings Sony's profits down to $1,135 million. Now, here's where the reality sets in, right? Because you're probably like, oh, that's still good, Big Cloud. We still did great. And this is where reality sucks, my friend. You forgot to mention the biggest commercial failure in PlayStation's history, and that is Concord. Concord cost Sony $400 million to make, and it cost them an additional $200 million after the game released when the game flopped and the game had to be canceled. That's $600 million removed from Sony in regards to losses for PlayStation. Right out the gate, that brings Sony down to $535 million. Now, let's go a little bit further here. It was reported, and again, I like how you forgot to mention this in the forum, because this has been one of my main points in regards to PlayStation, in regards to games in general, and games not selling. Game production has reached heights that it should not be at whatsoever. In fact, games are getting way too expensive to make, and the funny thing is the diminishing returns are literally is what's killing studios. You need these games to return a big profit for these studios to continue to go. As it currently stands, courtesy of the CMA, games in 2024 would, according to them, modern AAA games with a recent approved development budget and a launch window of 2024 to 2025 typically cost $200 million or more, according to the CMA report. This is a significant increase from the figures from even just 5 years ago, when the range was $50 million to $150 million on average. So, now that you got that out the gate, and we have $500 million in general is that we have right now in terms of Sony's total. Let's go to the games that we know for a fact that were canceled, right? Twisted Metal was canceled, and that was a AAA budget game. What else was canceled? Last of Us Factions 2, which, by the way, more than likely costs more than $200 million in general, because guess what? Last of Us Faction 2 was also playable, according to Shuhei Yoshida. He said he was playing it. He said it was good. But again, I'll sticking around the $200 million for that, right? Then you had a live service, what was it, God of War game that was also canceled, and vice versa. And we're not even counting what Deviation Games was making and so forth. So once again, I ask you, are you sure the PC community did not come in clutch in regards to keeping Sony from going in the red for 2024? Are you sure Sony did not go into the red without the help of the Steam and PC community for 2024? Are you sure? Yeah, you might want to add more context next time you say something, okay? Seriously. Sony price gouged customers to make up for Concor's loss. Is this another stupid... Are you serious right now? PSN prices went up, controller prices went up, accessories went up. What? Huh? Lackluster now? Are you serious? Literally, the PlayStation limited edition, 30th anniversary edition, they literally said it was out, it was limited supply, and they were selling them joints for mad marked up prices. And then people bought them. Then all of a sudden, conveniently, Sony had more in the back room. You know damn well what they did. I'm not even going to add any more credits to this. You know that is a fucking fact. They did that. PlayStation's revenue versus Xbox revenue. So the one thing I'm going to take away from this is that when he says this, he says there's something Big Cloud doesn't understand. Only a small portion of revenue comes from first-party sales. Console sales are important because more users mean more money is being spent on the PlayStation platform. Okay. So you're trying to say that Sony... okay, first of all, one thing you do kind of got right here. Yes, Sony's first party is not their main source of revenue, as clearly is the problem. Their games do not sell. Their attachment rate. See, the thing is, Sony has about 75 million consoles out here right now on the market. And with 75 million consoles on the market, their adoption rate in regards to their first party exclusives is arguably one of the all-time low. They don't have those crazy return on investments in regards to their first party sales at all. They just don't. Only select games that have had legacy or have already had a successful game usually are the ones that do pretty good for themselves. For example, Horizon does good for itself to an extent. I mean, you could toss that one up. But again, Horizon does good for itself to an extent. You had, obviously, God of War does well, name recognition alone. You had Last of Us that does well for itself from the success in the first game. And the TV show was doing good, right? But you can't really say this for every single game. Returnal was an abysmal mess, and that's a great game. The list goes on. You know, you get what I'm saying. The list goes on. Not even Ratchet and Clank sold crazy units. But this is what you want to go about. You know the main source of revenue? It's not even in the console sales. The main source of revenue for PlayStation has always been third-party software sales. You know, the Maddens, the FIFAs, the Call of Duties, which, by the way, Microsoft owns Call of Duty. So you're talking about revenue versus PlayStation. I don't think you want to have this conversation, my guy. I really don't think you want to have this conversation. Okay? Moving on. Did Shuhei Yoshida say they're putting games on PC because PlayStation gamers don't support their exclusives? Oh, Lord. Here we go. And he... So this is what he says, man. This is a bad pack with this too. Just to kill two birds with one stone. He says to get the most growth in China is to go day and date with PC. Really? First of all, I don't even think I need to say anything. What I'm gonna do is just play this clip. Okay? Because a lot of you idiots, again, you're lacking context. Shuhei Yoshida flat out said we're trying to grow in the U.S. and China markets. Let's roll the clip.
In other words, people think that putting a game on PC means no one's going to want a PlayStation anymore. But I'm like, no, I just don't know that these people were that interested to begin with. And if they are, the only way you can really go and get them is to aggressively go and get them.
You here, you know that when publishers release games on multi-platforms, especially on PC, the number one market countries their games sell is either US or China.
Yeah. Did you hear that loud and clear? They're trying to grow in the PC or they're trying to grow in the US and China markets. So with that being said, let's continue with the point here, okay? Now, in this forum, you said Sony reported year-on growth throughout the generation. I mean, that's to be expected. It's a whole generation you're counting. In terms of their growth in the U.S. side of things, yes, they outgrew Microsoft and took all the market share for the most part. Nintendo dominated in their own particular special route, for sure. But Sony is, they beat Microsoft. Now, riddle me this. How does Sony grow in the U.S. market after you reached your ceiling with console sales in the U.S.? It's very simple. You open the door to day-and-date releases to Steam in the U.S. And in regards to China, you thinking Sony's releasing games all in, just on console or day-and-date or in China for console whatnot. That's not the case. Okay? The PC community completely dominates the China market. Your main source of revenue or money in general in the PC community in China would be through day-and-date releases on Steam, period. That is a big PC market. He basically confirmed that most of the games you're going to be getting will be going to PC day and date, especially those that are, designed for China as well. They're going day and date, and it doesn't matter if they're live service games or single player games. They're going down there. It's going to happen. It's too big of a market to pass up. And as far as console gaming growing in the China market, it's not going to be on the same level as what you're going to get. And, especially the guaranteed money you'll get from Steam users day and date. This is why they're adding incentives and reason for you to jump in, and link your account to PC or to console, to PSN. They know damn well they're not converting PC users from China to no console. And that's a fact. So again, what are we doing here? Okay, what are we doing here? In terms of profitability, I think he did ask a question. He's like, Sony gamers don't support their exclusives. He literally mentioned fucking, what did he put? He put God of War Ragnarok, Ghost of Tsushima. He put Spider-Man 2018, Spider-Man 2, and he put Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Spider-Man 2018 came out on PlayStation 4, my guy. Ghost of Tsushima is PlayStation 4. Horizon Forbidden West, we didn't even get no crazy numbers for it. I mean, granted, it did do okay. I'm not going to be weird here. It did okay. God of War Ragnarok, again, that goes to my point that I made earlier, whatever the case may be. But again, and then he put Ratchet and Clank in regards to them saying we're profitable. Yes, you're profitable, but that doesn't really fix the problem that I'm saying here. The attachment rate in regards to first-party exclusives is significantly low, especially for other games aside from like 3 in PlayStation's lineup in terms of sales. You have all these consoles sold, and yet you can't guarantee over 5 or 7 million per game. When Nintendo literally, like, the funny thing is, and this is the crazy thing about Nintendo versus PlayStation fans, Nintendo fans actually stand on business and support their own. When games come out, they get supported. They come out there, they show out, they pull up to those games, and those games are guaranteed to sell at least 30 million. At their lowest, 20 million or so, but they sell over 20 million and are good to go, and their sequels are funded. Not to mention also, Nintendo's structure is a lot better than Sony in regards to their budget control. Game budgets for Nintendo games do not cost anywhere near $200 million to create. You'd be lucky if them damn things cost $50 million to make. Nintendo just simply knows how to manage their games and their, and their audience. It's that simple. PlayStation is another completely different story. He says, Lost Souls aside, again, we already talked about that. He says, Sony lacking all creativity, drive, and true passion to do Resistance 4. I mean, what else could stop them from making a Resistance 4? The fact that you're trying to damage control us not getting a fucking Resistance 4 makes me want to slap the hell out of you in a weird way. Like, bro, like, are you good, dog? Do you have any idea how big Resistance 4 would have been, especially in this particular format now? People like the game. It is a legacy game, has a lot of weight to a lot of people who absolutely will support it. And keep in mind, too, you now have a new avenue to launch this game into making it even bigger success. And I can say the same thing about Killzone and SOCOM. When you have the PC community and you open the door for day and date releases along with PlayStation 5 releases, these games can become juggernauts and massive successes day one with the release of the community. It absolutely can be. Resistance is a beloved game. It is creative as hell. It was very ambitious. That game could definitely do exceptionally well. Just like Dino Crisis would do exceptionally well if a remake of that was being made, which might actually happen. So, again, it is what it is. But anyway, that's pretty much the entire post. As you guys can see right here. Look, these dudes, you guys, it's hilarious to me. Listen, if you're going to come at me, hey, come at me. But please, by all means, show all the context. Show the full context of everything. Do not sit here and try to pick and choose to try to make a form, and especially, try to act like you can fact check me. Okay, that's number one. Number two, if you're gonna claim to be a forum about honesty and integrity and all this bullshit, it'd be wise for all you idiots to actually take a good hard look in the mirror and delete a lot of the bullshit posts that you make for console war clicks. You see, contrary to popular opinion, it doesn't matter how many clicks you fucking morons are trying to farm, whether it be from me or oh no, it's Alex or whatever the case may be. The bottom line is this: you're not stopping what's happening right in front of you, and what's happening right in front of you is an industry that is evolving. A lot of things have changed. This might upset the fanboys, but it's the truth. Exclusives do not sell the way they should. Exclusives do not have the same bearing of weight in terms of determining whether or not someone buys a console. Those days are long gone. People want ease of access. People want, simplicity. People just want fun games and a fun overall, environment. And that right there is going to transition into what's going to happen with console gaming going forward. Now, console gaming will always have a purpose. It's not going away. Let me go ahead and get that out there. PlayStations will always be available. Microsoft will continue to make Xboxes. You're going to have ecosystems going at it in a sense. Basically, whatever side you want to play on, you'll have access to. More people get to play games, whether it be Xbox games on PlayStation or PlayStation games on Steam, and potentially Xbox, which would be crazy. But again, you get the point. Everybody wins. Everybody gains something. The fact that this entire forum is so fucking hell-bent on crying every single day because people get to play a fucking game shows how fucking little you fucking dudes really are and how sick you fucking are. Okay, if you care about developers, if you care about this industry, like a lot of you put on this fucking fake, persona on in regards to these forums and everything, if you truly care about gaming and PlayStation, then you would not give a rat's ass who plays games and how they play the games. In fact, you would be happy that more people get to support the games that you like so that you can guarantee to get a sequel. I'm telling you right now, if Sony did this down in the beginning, we would have an Infamous already. We would have a new Infamous. We would have a new Resistance and vice versa. I'm telling you. The problem is, though, game development's too cost, creativity's not there, and the community, as you guys can clearly see by this thread and the threads that this damn shit makes, is full of idiots that will accept any type of mediocrity and will damage control anything for the sake of doing it, for attention, clicks, you name it. And that's the sad part. This your boy Bit. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I want to again shout out to everybody who came through. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys on the next one. Much love, y'all. I'm out. Peace.